Been reading that book you told me about.
In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 principles from The Art of War by Sun Tzu and how they play out in the Sopranos universe.
When your opponent gives you an opening, be swift as a hare. Sun Tzu.
Acting decisively when an opening presents itself.
And, it's better to act quickly if, more is lost by indecision than by wrong decision. That's all I'm saying.
I gotta be loyal. Without that, we crumble.
In contrast, Tony did move quickly once he got confirmation of who was behind the attempted assassination in season 1.
It's Junior and Mikey that definitely took out the hit. Start things moving. There's no room for interpretation. Plan things out. Make no mistakes.
And on the flip side, in New York, the Lupertazzi family was swift in taking action at the end of the series.
3 pops, within a tight time frame, 24 hours, so there's no chance for them to hit back.
If your opponent is of choleric temper, irritate him.
If your adversary has a quick temper or is easily angered, strategically provoking them can be a tactic to gain an advantage.
Now, what I'd love to see is a truce. Wipe the slate clean.
Now, it's possible that this was just word vomit on Carmine's part, but I think it's more likely that he was doing this to strategically provoke Phil and gain an advantage.
And I just lost my friend Rusty.
But what advantage specifically? Or was it just chaos for chaos' sake?
Your brother Billy, whatever happened there.
All right, then.
Whatever happened there?
The shooting.
Want a drink?
Not the time, Anthony.
I need you to call Rosalie and cancel with them.
Thanksgiving?
He's running scared since you canceled that dinner. He wants to apologize.
But if your opponent has a choleric temper, it may not always be the best idea to irritate him. You never know what's going to set him off. Tony knows this very well. But yet, he still tells Ralph that he's seeing Valentina while Ralph's son is in the hospital. I don't think that was a good move.
My cousin in the old man's seat?
It's like Sun Tzu says. A good commander is benevolent and unconcerned with fame.
What?
Sun Tzu, the Chinese Prince Machiavelli.
A good commander should prioritize the well-being of their troops and the success of their mission, rather than being concerned most with personal glory or recognition.
Look at me. How you feeling?
I may be acting boss while the old man's a guest of the government, but I wish somebody would tell my bowels because they don't obey. Maybe I should name a successor.
And even though we didn't get to see Jackie Aprile Sr. in action for that long, I feel like the moments that we do see him, including the flashbacks, we can get a pretty good idea of who he's thinking of when he gets down to business. It doesn't seem like he's only thinking of his own glory.
You deal with it, all right, Tony?
Jackie hadn't gotten sick. None of this would have happened.
When you're right, you're right.
I mean, when Jackie was acting boss, no one minded because it all evened out at the end of the day.
He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight.
In other words, choose your battles.
A lot of things used to be. Maybe so. But you're gonna make good on his busted arm. Oh, yeah? Why am I gonna do that? Of course, I said so. That's why.
Paulie just so happened to be listening to The Art of War as he pulled up to the street. Perfect timing. He chose to fight. And here's another example featuring Carmine Sr., in this case, knowing when to fight and when not to fight. Carmine wants 40% and Tony wants to only give 5%. After a lot of shit's gone down, they come to the table and Carmine says, let's split the difference.
20%.
15.
You know what? In the interest of putting this shit to bed, if that's what it's going to take, 15.
But when Carmine does fight, he fights well. Like when they hadn't yet come to an agreement on the HUD scam and guys had trashed Carmine's restaurant.
I haven't wanted to do this, but it's gotta be. Call the union.
He will win who knows how to handle.
Here in this therapy session, Tony's still figuring out what to do with Ralph, which is when the art of war comes up. And I think the rule here, he will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces, is applicable in terms of maneuvering and adapting based on the situation at hand, which becomes very important later on this episode when Gigi dies. Despite Tony being very vocal about not wanting to promote Ralph, things change and you adapt as needed. And I think that Tony adapted here very well, despite his personal feelings. Well, until whoever did this, anyway.
Ordinarily, I would just, put him out to pasture. But it's a very valuable piece of manpower.
The importance of strategic flexibility and adaptability in all situations, whether you're facing a stronger or a weaker opponent.
I'll make sure your orders are done, whatever they may be.
Well, I think you should go with your instincts on this, Ralph. Because I'm sure you're going to do the right thing. That's why I made you captain.
Tony was no fan of Ralph, but after Gigi died, Tony reluctantly made Ralph captain. And then after Jackie Aprile Jr. attempts to knock up his card game, Tony makes sure to remind Ralph.
But they don't have to live with your commitments. The one thing you cannot do, Ralph, you cannot do, is blame yourself. You schooled him as best you could. Didn't you?
In the words of Jimmy Bones, may he rest in peace, the answer is no.
You hear about the Chinese Godfather? He made them an offer they couldn't understand.
Most of the guys that I know, they read Prince Machiavelli. But this book is much better about strategy.
Machiavelli in The Prince advocates for rulers to use any means necessary to secure and maintain control, while The Art of War is more concerned with strategy. It is often necessary to act against mercy, against faith, against humanity, against frankness, against religion, in order to preserve the state. He must stick to the good so long as he can, but being compelled by necessity, he must be ready to take the way of evil. What about you? What do you think? Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.